Have you ever wondered how you could actually bring the power of AI into your business, especially if you're not some huge tech giant? Well, today, we're going to unpack the roadmap from the book Artificial Intelligence for Business and show you exactly how it can be done. It's easy to think of AI as this far-off, futuristic thing, but the truth is you're already using it, like all day, every day. When you ask Siri for the weather, or when Netflix uncannily knows exactly what movie you want to watch next, or even when your bank sends you a fraud alert. Yep, that's all AI, just humming along quietly behind the scenes. So that's the real question, isn't it? It's one thing to use AI as a consumer, but what would it actually take to harness that power and build it right into the fabric of your own company? Well, the great news is it's way more accessible than you probably think. The old barriers, they're pretty much gone. You don't have to be a massive corporation with a giant budget anymore. You just need a clear plan, a roadmap. And that's exactly what we're going to walk through today. Okay, so let's kick things off with the big picture. The new AI opportunity. Why is right now the perfect time to be thinking about all this? If you rewind the clock just a little bit, building any kind of AI was a massive undertaking. It was really only for the big players, the companies that could afford to hire these expensive, specialized teams to build everything from the ground up. For pretty much everyone else, it just wasn't even an option. But that world, it's changing, and it's changing fast. So what's different? Well, a couple of huge things. First, the cost has just plummeted. Tech giants like IBM, Google, and Microsoft now let you rent their incredibly powerful AI tools on a pay-as-you-go basis. That alone is a game changer. And second, the culture has shifted. We're all so used to AI in our daily lives, the customers aren't just okay with it, they kind of expect it. Check out this example. H&R Block. They're a tax company, right? Not a tech company. Well, they teamed up with IBM Watson to create an AI that helps their tax pros find every single possible deduction for a customer. It's the perfect example of AI not replacing people, but making them way, way better at their jobs. All right, so the opportunity is crystal clear. But how do you go from some vague idea to an actual, concrete project plan? That's what we're diving into next. Where do you even begin? It all starts with having a system for new ideas. The book talks about creating an idea bank, which is so much more than a dusty old suggestion box. Think of it as a managed living library of potential projects, where good ideas are actually reviewed, prioritized, and developed. It ensures nothing great falls through the cracks. So, once you've picked an idea, you need to give it some structure. The design thinking process is a fantastic way to do this because it's all about the user. You start by figuring out who you're building this for, your personas. Then you brainstorm solutions for them, set clear goals, and wrap it all up in something called a user story. And this simple little sentence, this is like the magic template. A user story forces you to answer 3 critical questions. Who's the user? What do they need to do? And, most importantly, what's the benefit for them? This structure is what keeps your project laser-focused on delivering real value, not just building a cool-sounding feature. Okay, with a solid plan in place, we are ready for the fun part, actually building your first AI. The book breaks down the whole build process into 3 really clear phases. First, you have to gather and clean up your data. That's the fuel for your AI. Then, you build a prototype, which is all about learning and testing your idea quickly. And finally, you launch a production system, turning that prototype into a real polished solution. Now, it is so important to understand that these 2 things have totally different goals. A prototype's only job is to help you learn fast and prove that your idea is worth pursuing. It's supposed to be a bit messy. A production system, though, that's the real deal. It's got to be secure, it's got to be able to handle lots of users, and it's got to be reliable. This brings you to a huge decision, a real fork in the road that every team has to face. Do you build every single piece from scratch, or do you use components that are already built? And this is where we circle right back to that new accessibility we talked about. You don't have to build your own language processor from scratch anymore. Companies like IBM offer these incredibly complex tools as simple, pre-built components you can just plug into your system. It's like buying the engine for your car instead of trying to build one yourself. It just speeds everything up and lowers the risk tremendously. Okay, you did it. Your system is launched. Project's over, right? Well, not quite. Welcome to the next section, the AI lifecycle.
See, unlike a lot of traditional software, an AI system is never really done. It's more like a garden than a building. It's a living thing that needs constant attention. You have to maintain it, watch how it's doing, and most importantly, keep feeding it new data and feedback so it can get smarter over time.
So how do you measure if it's improving? Two key ideas here are precision and recall. Let's go back to that spam filter idea. Precision asks, of all the emails we called spam, how many were actually spam? You want that to be high so you don't delete important stuff. But recall asks, of all the spam that actually came in, how much of it did we catch? There's always a trade-off. If you're super precise, you might let some spam slip through. So, to manage that trade-off, data scientists use something called an F1 score. All you need to know is that it's a single number, like a final grade, that balances both precision and recall. It gives you one simple metric to track how well your system is actually performing in the real world.
All right, for our final section, let's zoom all the way out and talk about the ultimate goal, building a truly intelligent business.
And this right here might be the biggest takeaway of all. Building one AI project is great, but the real transformation, the thing that will truly set you apart, is building a culture of innovation. A culture that is always asking questions, always experimenting, and always learning. That's what's going to last. So I'll leave you with this really powerful thought from the book. The smartest AI of the future won't just get better at flipping the switches we tell it to flip, it'll start asking if we even need those switches in the first place. And that's the real challenge for you. What are the old, unquestioned switches in your business that a new way of thinking could help you rethink entirely?